My name is Simon Maryan. I started off my working career officially, properly, was in the Royal Marines. I spent a few years SF, and then I worked in the intelligence world. And I continued on, finished officially with that in 2008. Very early on from the military career, really, because I went to Northern Ireland, first Gulf, so probably, crikey, 20 years. I said Northern Ireland, Bosnia, Cambodia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, into Chad and Sudan, Côte d'Ivoire, Congo. Predominantly these days is surveillance and human intelligence, and before that would have been classed as what's a tier 1 operator, door kicker for another expression. And in the Royal Marines, I was part of sniper and part of, and before that I was an SF gunner, so which is sustained fire, so with a GPMG and support company, and then at the very beginning being a bog standard rifleman in a commando company. Yeah, there's a couple that stand out, and things involving kids. I found particularly hard to come to terms with. I think that was much harder for my mind to accept. And unfortunately, in a lot of in many locations, kids were collateral damage. And in some places, kids were the antagonists. So unfortunately, if they were collateral damage, there's nothing, other than, they would have been killed regardless of whether we'd gone in to do what we were going to do or not, because of the nature of the environment they're in. And if they were the antagonists, then boils down to me or them. And it was as simple as that. And you have to kind of, or we kind of agreed that collectively that was the way we all kind of dealt with it, was to package that up in the sense that we had a job to do. Unfortunately, they were attempting to kill us, so we were just fortunately better trained and faster. There's two that spring to mind. One is actually, it was in Africa. I was working on an intelligence job, and I was working with one other guy, and we went to meet an asset, and it turned out to be the shifty little git was double dipping, and it was a setup, so we got ambushed. But it was in a building. I took a round in the leg, which thankfully it was a 9mm. He shot me with a pistol. So otherwise, if the bloody distance he was from me, he'd have taken half, cut my leg in half if it was an AK. And the guy I was with, thankfully, was fast and a good shot. Took him out, and while I was on the floor, I took out another guy, and then he shot the third one. And we managed to get away. But that kind of put the wind at me, because it was that's the closest, most confined situation of an ambush I've ever been involved in like that. It's a different thing when you're outdoors and you can leg it or crawl into cover, but when you're in the same bloody room, it's a bit. It's a feeling of being at ease and not feeling jittery. You feel calm. Everything, because sometimes, when the shit hits the fan initially, it's like a tornado in your head. It's spinning around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you can't see the wood for the trees. But once you snap out of that much quicker, because you've got all these experiences and you've got the training and the skill sets and the practical experience and application, yes, you can't fight that natural human instinct and reaction when the shit hits the fan to go, oh fuck. Oh, second. It's bang. Oh fuck! It's a fuck. Not again. And then right, okay, let's get on with it. So it's that initial panic, and then you go, now that's no use. Right, what do I need to do? What are my options? The second time, it took 35 days, and the last week or so, they were getting really pissed off that they weren't getting paid, and they were getting drugged up, pissed up, and at night they would, when they were high as kites and absolutely legless, they started getting into taking us out of the hut we were kept in, and there was 5 of us that got kidnapped at the same time. There was me, and there was I think there were 4 Americans. So the piece that kept me together with that was me focusing on keeping them together to get them through it. Obviously a lot of fear, and rightly so. Then quite despondent and despair and anger and frustration, I think, because they were frustrated and pissed off that the company wasn't paying the ransom quick enough. That's the bottom line, because everybody knows it happens out there, and the sooner you pay, the sooner you get your people back. But negotiations obviously took a little bit longer. They obviously didn't want to pay as much as they were being demanded. They were giving it beatings and kick-ins and taking it out on us because of the state of mind they were in. We were their only outlet, really. So they started the worst bit. They were doing mock executions. They would take us, kneeling us down on the floor, sticking an AK or a pistol in your mouth and pulling the trigger. And that itself wasn't very nice, obviously. But the worst part was getting beaten with the flat side of a machete when they're pissed up and drugged up. I was gutted because I thought, fuck, if this is it, I can't speak to my family. I can't speak to. It was 2007, and my daughter was born. After that trip, I was late getting back. I was supposed to be back a week before my daughter was born. I got back on the Saturday. My wife went into hospital on the Sunday for a planned cesarean on the Monday morning. Daily for about a week, because they were just getting, and it got more and more violent. I just from the day it started happening, I thought this is, from experience and from training, etc. Once it starts, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop until they start. Somebody's going to die here. Somebody's going to be so out of it, they're going to go over the top. So one of us is going to die. So I tried to. My sole focus was to get these other 4 guys in the right state for them to accept what's happening, and teaching them to kind of to dull the pain is to kind of step out of themselves a little bit. And so yes, they can feel the beating, but not to the same degree as if they were fully inside their body. I told it was withdrawing into your own mind. So you kind of shrink yourself down and then project yourself out, is what I taught them. You make yourself smaller and smaller, so the body is kind of like a punching bag, and you're so small on the inside you can hardly feel it. You can just feel the movement, you can feel the blows, but you don't actually feel the pain because you're protected by this shell of a body. Now it's just another experience. It's firmly in the past. I don't have nightmares or flashbacks about it. It's a sense of knowing that you can deal with it. You just have the memories of past experiences, and again, no matter, I now know, I feel that I can, no matter what happens, I can deal with it. Well, initially, it just calms me down because I know that tornado in my head stops. And it's like, like where you are, more so than here. It's a bit cloudy today, but it's like the sky clears. Sun's beaten down, you just feel calm, relaxed. You have a warm glow. It's just, everything's peaceful, and when that peace and kind of tranquility happens in here and in here, you have the awareness of your options externally and internally. It's like going from tunnel vision to having 360. It's like having a panoramic view. It's, because it's even having the sense of knowing what's behind you and what's happening behind you. Even though you can't actually see, you just feel, you get that sense that, yeah, that's cool. There's nothing there. I don't have to worry about that. Do you know what? It's fun. Because everyone is upbeat. Everyone is motivated to work and get the job done. There are no silos. There's no internal fighting and all that bullshit office politics. Everyone knows what's needed. All departments and teams work together to achieve the end goal instead of the whole one-upmanship that very often goes on, which drives me nuts. It's people in the same. If it's a rival company, I can understand, trying to stab each other in the back or getting the one-upmanship. But when it goes right in an organisation, it's fun to be there. It's a fun place to be.